Was this painting made using human remains? Hello and welcome to Creepy History, where I uncover chilling facts from the past during spooky season, and today we're talking about mummy brown paint. Mummy brown, also known as caput mortuum or Egyptian brown, was made from ground up remains of mummies. When mummy parts were ground up and mixed with white pitch and myrrh, it created a very deep and rich brown color. Now it's worth noting that mummies have been used for a variety of things throughout history. In fact, it was a long-held belief that mummy parts could have medicinal purposes. So mummies could be ground up into powder to be put into paste or drinks to heal something as mundane as a toothache or something as severe as epilepsy. And I am not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure you shouldn't do that, so take nothing in this video as medical advice. And this form of medical cannibalism was more common throughout the 12th to 16th centuries. A lot of people associate this with the Victorian time period because some Victorians would hold mummy unwrapping parties, but they weren't consuming the mummies. But the earliest record of mummy brown paint came from 1712. It was being sold in an art shop in Paris under the name à la momie. In 1797, the publication A Compendium of Color stated that mummy brown paint created one of the finest shades of brown. One of the presidents of the Royal Academy of Arts was also said to be a fan of the color. So my Benedict Bridgerton girlies, I hate to break it to you, but canonically this man could have used mummy brown paint in some of his work. Can't wait for that bit in season 4. And in instances where mummies couldn't be procured, sometimes contemporary corpses would be used as a replacement. This often meant that the corpses of slaves or criminals were used to create pigment. Several famous artists throughout history used mummy brown paint, including Eugene Delacroix. The Pre-Raphaelite artist Edward Burne-Jones also purchased a tube of mummy brown paint. However, upon learning the true origins of the paint, he decided that he wanted to respect the corpse from which the paint had been made and bury the tube. At the end of the 19th century, mummy brown paint began to decline in popularity. And not only that, but the supply of mummies was also beginning to diminish. But some supply companies also still had mummy parts in their stores, so they began to use up the mummies as best they could in order to get rid of the stock. In fact, the manufacturing company Roberson & Co. created their last bottle of mummy brown paint as late as 1964. The firm stated that, quote, "We might have a few odd limbs lying around somewhere, but not enough to make any more paint. We have sold our last complete mummy some years ago for, I think, £3. Perhaps we shouldn't have. We certainly can't get any more." A representative of Roberson & Co. stated that they did recall seeing mummy parts in the shop when the shop was bought out in the 1980s. So while we might look back and think of mummy brown as being some relic from centuries past, instead imagine mummy parts in the storage room of some art shop while Michael Jackson's Thriller plays on the radio. That should give you some perspective. And the next time you see a painting like this, think about what the human cost truly was.